Loaded.
Too complicated a game. I can play Pipeline, but the Hunger is too complicated.
Not complicated, loaded. There's a difference.
Too many things going on. All right, round 4, I believe, is the Great Game Debate, which is what we call when we take a game that is somewhat well-known or somewhat thematic to the day, like today with The Hunger. It's a newer game that's come out this last year, and it's a really cool deck-building pressure luck game. And it plays 2 to 6 players in around 60 minutes, maybe not with a teach, and maybe not when players are also watching football at the same time. Then it takes a little bit longer, I can tell you that. But it is a race in which you're trying to gather your play as vampires, and which that's why I dress as a vampire today, by the way. And where you're going out away from the castle to try to feast and feed on different unsuspecting victims. And as you do that, these victims get added to your deck, but they don't allow you to move, and you need movement and speed in your deck to get back to the castle in time before sunrise, lest, Andy, what happens to you? You turn into dust, as Andy found out. And so it's a little deck building, little pressure luck, and we're going to find out what everybody thinks about it. Everybody's played it, and we're going to see what they think, and we're going to send it around the board, starting with...
Oh, yeah, baby! What the hell? Sting!
Sting over here.
All right. Well, man, I have some interesting feelings in this game. So just as a concept, I kind of like the idea that it's, get and get back. A lot of people are like, oh, it's kind of like Clank, and sure, that has kind of the same idea. But I don't know. I felt like I enjoyed it more than Clank. I was never like that. I played it and I was just kind of like, it's okay. I don't really care. Even though I know people love Clank, but it was just kind of whatever for me. But this one, I don't know, something about it was different. I enjoyed the getting it back, and it seemed impossible. I'm gonna be honest. So like we were getting to the point where we kind of had to turn back, and I was still like 8 spaces away from the place you get like the extra reward or whatever like that, and I just turned back because I'm largely a very conservative person. Not well, I don't take a lot of risks is the best way to describe it, is what I mean. So and so I was just like, yeah, I'm head back, and everyone's head back at the same time, but I had kind of a little bit of a jump on them. But even then, like the cards that you get throughout the game, like, yeah, they give you points and some abilities, but like they're all like movement 0. They're all like just you don't move. And again, it's get back. But the caveat being that if you don't get back at all, well, actually, if you get back to the actual house, you have the chance of truly winning. And then the closest like 3 places, you can still live and you lose like 5 points. So you're still in the chance of winning. As long as you're in those last 4, you have a chance of winning. If you are not in one of those last 4, you just lose. I don't care how many victory points you have. The idea is you're a vampire, you've been out, the sun's up, and you turn to ash immediately. So as being a grognard, I love the rules that are punishing, that are do the thing or you lose. So I was a big fan of that. The game overall is fine. I enjoy it. I'm not rushing out to buy it, but I'm also not going to like say no to play it. I think it's that's 7 typically on BGG, where almost every game is really. So I enjoyed it. But so overall, that's kind of what I would rate it. I enjoy it, but I don't have to own it. However, on a personal note, that game will forever be a 10 in my book, because I could mark it down as Andy, after 3 hours of play, had a score of 0. And when I can mark down that Andy has a score of 0 after 3 hours, that is an auto 10 in my book.
You logged that bad boy, right?
That's right. I didn't win. No, I took second. Like Kelly played with us and she destroyed us, but I didn't turn to ash. I actually had points. So, what did you think of this game, Andy?
Well, I think you might know what I think about it based on that last little sentiment. I wanted to like this game, and there were at times I did like the game. Now, I will say part of the problem with our play is there was a little bit of a misconception about when the game ended and where you had to be. Now I know you say that that's not the case, Chris, but we couldn't figure out where the terminology was the mountains, the cemetery, the shadows, and we were trying to figure out where exactly he had to get to. And so I was a little confused on that. However, yes, I did get destroyed. I ate too many humans and I did not digest them properly. So I kind of just tried to trudge back to the castle, and I was very slow and sluggish to do so. And suddenly the sun came up and I burst into flames. I will say, however, it was a fun theme. Although if Daniel doesn't give this one trouble, I'm really going to question him, because there's something just evil about digesting humans, maybe, right, Daniel? Maybe? I don't know. We'll talk about that in a minute. I can't wait to get his thoughts on this. Theme was all right. Honestly, though, it felt a little bit too much like Clank to me. And Clank is a game that I liked at first a little bit and then kind of got pretty bored with. I think I'd get pretty bored with this after a while, too. If I'm going to play a deck builder, I'm going straight for the good stuff. And for me, that's Tyrants of the Underdark. Man, I love me some Tyrants. Got some area control, some more conflict, and you still got the deck building aspect. I get what they were trying to do. Cool theme. I'm not going to say I was a huge fan, but I wouldn't mind playing it again, I guess. There will be probably some. I think there are some expansions coming, and there's room for that, and maybe more maps, and who knows what. But it's all right. It's all right. I'll give it a 7.
Wow. All right. Well, I was not in on this game. I had to spend some time with my family that weekend, so I had played my play several months ago, maybe even a year ago, and but I remember walking away from it thinking, I will probably never play that game again, because if I did, I'd rather play Clank, and I gave Clank to Randy. So this had several degrees of separation, and I was not going to enjoy this one. It has that same pressure luck that Clank did, like how far down the path are you going to go? But it was just so distracting. There's tons of things spread throughout the map, and you're just like, oh, well, maybe I should go here. Oh, maybe I should go here. And then before you know it, someone's at the end, and you're just like, wait, what just happened? And then you're turning around and you're running, and the person who got to the end got the really powerful card. And I was just like, there was just so much going on for a very simple game. It was very bloated. There were just too many meaningless decisions, in my opinion, because you're trying to decide like which path you're going to go down, and somebody's camping out at the tavern eating all the people while someone's running down the road trying to get to the end. And there was nothing about it that was very exciting. The deck building itself was also very meh, because they're doing that Dominion thing where you get like victory points into your hand by eating on people, but the people slow you down, but you can digest them, but you have to hit the exact right spot at the exact right time to digest them. So like if you have one of the religious leaders in your hand, you have to be by the church to digest them. But if you didn't draw them and you're by the church, you need to keep moving, but you can, because you want to digest your religious leaders. And there was just so many issues like that, where it's kind of the Dune Imperium issue, where you are so restrained by what you drew that I feel like the rest of the game just doesn't matter, because it's like, I'm just going to do whatever this hand of cards tell me to do. And in the end, very unsatisfying for me. This was a pass. Since I guess we're giving out number ratings, I think I gave this one a 5, if not a 4, but probably a 5.
So your big problem is it should be easier to digest humans.
Yes, I want to eat humans without indigestion, and without any issues.
Let me just say this. I'm glad that doesn't hit too close to home.
It doesn't. I'm okay with vampiric cannibalism. I'm not okay with demonic satanism.
Let's clear that up.
For me, this goes hand in hand, because it seems like a great system. Is because you sacrifice them and then just eat them. Like, then there's no body. You don't have to worry about crime and the legal implications. So, I mean, it seems like it's actually right up your alley, actually.
And you can't raise that guy back to life either.
He didn't come back to life.
No. So, John,
well, they might come back in a different form.
I don't know. I've never tried to digest bones. So
Daniel, hearing you reminded me of the misconceptions that I heard in the review I heard of this game, because when I first saw The Hunger was coming out, I'm like, this looks really cool. This looks right up my alley. The artwork and the theme are incredible. It's like a light horror theme. I don't want anything too grisly. and the artwork in it it goes right along with that. It's not cartoonish, but it's not realistic. It's got enough of an edge to it to make it interesting, and so that alone is really great. So I'm really excited about this game. Then I hear the review that sounds like Daniel, where they're like, so many misconceptions that aren't even true about the game. Like, oh, there's just too many things to do and too much going on. There really isn't. You have like 3 or 4 options on your turn. Yeah, there's different things to do and there's different paths to victory. That's a good thing. And then then that's not how you digest your humans either. You can digest anybody that's in your discard or your play area. So when you're getting low on cards, that's where you look to go digest. It's pretty simple. You can do anybody that you have. And so it's pretty easy to figure out when to digest. It's when I'm low on cards. And it's also what I heard in the review what I heard of it was, oh, well, just don't go very far out and get all these humans and then go back in. That got me last place. So that doesn't do you any good. And so then I tried another option. Guess what happened? Last place. It's a tricky game to win. And so you really have to plan it out. And so there's not just one way to win it. I've tried 2 different options. They were both, this last time I didn't even make it back. But even if I'd have scored my points, I'd have been last place. And the first time I barely made it back. And so I love that aspect too, where it's yeah. And the person that always won was somebody that made it all the way to the end, but that wasn't the only reason they won, because they were like ignoring points early and they got a lot of points because of the other things that they got that weren't people. And then they got they stopped a lot of the graveyards and got different ways to get points throughout the end of the game. So there's different ways that you can do it. To me, I think it might be a buy. This is one that I might have to get. Besides that, the fact that it plays up to 6 players, how rare is that?
Oh.
You have 2 couples coming over. You can play up to 6 players. That's the kind of games I'm always looking for too. So to me, it's 2 big thumbs up for The Hunger.
I gagged a little bit when you said 6 players. I would never play that game with 6 players. Oh my gosh. Any deck builder like beyond 4 is just unimaginable. Even 4 is like way too long for any deck builder.
Yeah.
4 players.
I'm in complete agreement with Daniel there. At first, when you said 6 players, like, oh, that's a good point. And I was like, wait a minute. No, that's not a good point. We played it at 3 players and it took forever. Or no, 4 players. And it took forever. There was so much downtime between turns. It was,
yeah. And John, there is a lot to do in that game, and it doesn't need to be that much. Like I didn't go over this point, but to determine who goes first the next round is like a flow chart. It's like which one of these roads are you on, and then are you on top of somebody or below somebody, and then if you land on somebody, you can push them. Yes. And it's just like that's just, I don't know. That's just way too much. And that's on top of like, if I stop here, I get this little token. And if I stop here, I get a card. So do I want to stop here to get a card, or do I want to stop here to get a token? All the while you're confined by your 3 cards that you have in your hand. You may not be able to do anything you want.
That's true. That's why you have to build your deck better. It's called the deck building.
Hey, Daniel, let's go play Tyrants.
That's right. Let's go.
Daniel likes games like Ticket to Ride, where you have one choice. You're going to take a card.
Oh,
or you're going to build a route, and then that's it.
You know, I didn't do this to you the whole game, I don't think, but you deserve it now.
Loaded.
Too complicated a game. I can play Pipeline, but The Hunger is too complicated.
Not complicated. Loaded. There's a difference.
Too many things going on.
Complexity to the weight of the game is way out of skew.
It's not that complex.
It is not
by
satisfying.
the way, guys, I just heard from our producer.
Yeah.
There's been some behind the scenes adjustment of the points here. It looks like 2 points are going to go to whoever had the best costume tonight. Who do you think won?
Probably you.
Clearly me, because I put the most effort and time and energy.
That is incorrect.
No.
And it's not me, because I
thinking
removed
it's
my
probably
costume.
Chris.
It's not John. It is the one, the only, Mr. Sting. Chris, got a question for you. Is the beard gone or is it black?
So
yeah, good question.
So I do, yeah. I guess I'll just go with this. I want to talk about more about whatever it's called, like Hunger, but we'll move on.
Oh yeah, please.
So
please tell us about the Hunger first.
Oh, okay. So I was just gonna say that, like, I don't think it's actually bloated. There isn't actually a whole lot to do, because the cards do force you to be like, cool, I can move 3. I could do one of these. Oh, all three are the same thing. Sure, I'll move two and do the thing. Like it's the cards, because of the way it works and how little you actually get a movement with the cards when you buy them. Like it actually just plays it for itself, honestly. Like, and then back to the player count. I like the fact that the initiative system works to where it changes based on how far out you are from round to round. So it kind of like, it's not a catch-up mechanic, but it kind of feels like it. But anyways, it changes your order of your play based on how far away you each are time. So with 6 people, it's possible you could like go and then wait. What is that? 11 turns before it's your turn. Like you have to wait
Yes, that
5,
would
10
be
turns before it's your
possible.
turn.
Right.
Again.
Which to me, Chris, that does not make it a catch-up mechanic. That makes it a relish mechanic, which is disgusting.
So you relish it.
Like it. Does that go on your pocket dogs that you get from the trash?
Trash dogs.
Your trash
World
dogs?
Series trash dogs. That's a whole nother story for another day.
That is another one. Anyways, so in regards to my makeup, what I did was, so I still have the beard. I didn't shave it, and I'm definitely not going to do that. I care about the show, but not that much. So what I did is I actually took one of my wife's like headbands, and I actually have it like pulling back most of it behind, around my neck. It's pulling it back, so it's like taunt. So you actually only see here, and then I did the black paint on the beard, so it kind of like blacks out, obviously, and then I put on the hair and everything. So
It's fantastic, man.
took like an
I
hour
said
and 15 minutes, and my wife was a big part of it. So thank
you got to keep that till Halloween.
Okay, that won't be happening unless Halloween is in the next 10 minutes.
If you enjoyed what you just watched, click on the embedded video for the rest of the episode.